Hi folks, this video's purpose is to illustrate how a for loop works. A for loop is considered a determinate or definite loop in C++. Right here is an example of a for loop. On line 95 of this computer program that you can access at this webpage address, at least until I change it, which I don't plan to, but who knows. This for loop right now is iterating 2 times. It goes around once, and then when it hits this closing curly brace, it just knows to go back up to the top and it happen again. The variable I is used as a loop control variable that controls how many times the loop goes around. I is short for index. You don't need to really know that for this class that I'm teaching. But I is just a common name for a variable that we use with for loops. Now, if you don't declare I as an int, you're going to have problems. It's not going to work. If you declare I above this point in the program, that's fine. If you set it equal to 0, that's fine. But the most important thing is that right here, before that semicolon, that's like a separator, you set I equal to 0. Some people don't, and they keep that blank. But because of this in I, it works still. It's just bad style. Watch. This still works, but it's just bad style to declare it up here. So in this little area right here, this is where you should use I, and typically we set it equal to 0. And we typically make it an int and not a double or some other type of variable. Okay, so that's the first part of the use of I. The second part is the true-false part. And the third part is the incrementing part. Now, plus means add 1 in C++. So each time we go around this merry-go-round for loop, the variable I has 1 added to it. And because of this middle part, that's when we stop. So the ride operator stops the merry-go-round when I is equal to 2. As long as it's not less than 2, it stops it. So right now, if you look closely, this pattern is repeated twice. It's like right here, and then it repeats right there. The top and bottom border, they're coming from right here according to this nice documentation. Top border, bottom border. So the guts of that maze are right here. And just by changing this to say 30, so now I'm going to involve people in this class live in a video. So please don't say your name because we don't want your name on the internet, especially if you get this wrong. But Kenneth, when I had a 2 here, this executes and we get 2 repeated sections. So please tell me through the microphone, how many times will it be repeated if I have a 5 there? 5. Very good. That was an easy one, but good job. I didn't put your last name on the internet, so don't worry. Nobody's holding that against you. Taking the easy one. Okay, who can take this harder one? I'm going to change this to say 6 and change that to 1. Okay, can anybody tell me out loud with the microphone how many sections will be repeated if I start I at 1 and change that to 6 rather than 5? So instead of 0 and 5, 1 and 6. Anyone?
Is it 5 because it's starting at 1?
Okay, good, wrong answer. It's starting at 1, but it's going up to but not including 6. So if I have my video projected and I'm counting on my fingers, let's kind of count with me. It starts at 1, it goes around. It pluses to 2 and it goes around. Okay, I'm up to 2. It pluses to 3 and it goes through the loop. It pluses to 4 and it goes through the loop. It increments to the number 5. And since 5 is indeed less than 6, it goes through the loop. It then increments to 6. And because 6 less than 6 is false, you're right. It does not see out one last time. And if you saw my hand right now, it's in front of the camera. There's a 5. So you were right. Who was that first name of that person that spoke out loud?
Eric.
Good job, Eric. So 5 is the number of iterations here. And let's prove that by running the program. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Typically, though, see, this is like throws people off because they see this 6 and they want to say 6 times. So usually we start here at 0 and we go less than 5. That's just standard C++ kind of coding. Then you can quickly at an eyeball's glance see that number 5. Now, some people, they throw an equal symbol in here. And I mean, there are people that do a little everything, and they're not necessarily easy to work with, and they're doing things in a non-standard way. So right now, I'm putting this back to the most standard way that you would likely see it in a textbook. And right now, looking at this, 5. If I put, I don't know, 59 there, 59. As long as you start at 0, it's just this less than number, whatever that number is. That's the number of sections you're getting. Well, I'm not going to take questions in the video. That's all I have to say about a for loop. There are people, though, I'm going to break it a little bit in closing before I exit, changing this back to 2. And there are people that move this part and they put it up here and they leave the semicolon part sort of blank. Now, that's kind of non-standard, but it works. And then there are people that take this I++ and they put it at the tail end of the body inside the curly braces. That technically works, but it's not the easiest for people to follow. So I'm having trouble in this live video dragging and dropping. There it is. Some people do that. They have to add the semicolon for this to compile. So in other words, they gut this whole for loop and they just leave this part in. So that's going to still work. It's just not good style. Always make your dashboard of your for loop. I call this the dashboard, the header of the for loop. Make it self-explanatory by putting these pieces in the right spots and just making sure that you have the right number of semicolons. 2 semicolons separating 3 parts of a for loop. And that's a wrap on how to use a for loop in this maze layout project. I am now ending the video right now. Bye.